Hello, my name is Mathias and I work at Folder Guy Studios. It's been about a month since we released our game The Pathics, and in that game we used singletons to store references and other forms of data. But the way we did it was that we loaded the different singletons through a master scene, so that scene had to be loaded before we could do anything else in any of the game scenes, such as the arena. This turned out to be quite bothersome sometimes, so I have worked on a way to do this differently, so like the singletons are created when they are called. So what I have made here is we have a self-create singleton on the MonoBehaviour, and then we have some different fields and a singleton instance here, which has to be static with a get accessor, and then we have an interface called iSingleton, which has the method uninstantiated, and then we have also used the undestroy method from Unity. Then I will also be using a singleton manager, which will be expanded throughout the next couple of videos, and then an object pool, which is also going to be expanded. Alright, so let's start by setting up some folders here. I want to have a script folder to hold a script I have, and then here I want another folder for all the Unity objects I will be making, which will be scripts for monobehaviors or scriptable objects. So as said, monobehaviors, and then I want a singletons folder here. Alright, so let's create the base class sc singleton on the monobehavior. Right. So, as we saw in the class diagram, I want to make this abstract and generic, and I want to limit the generic value to be specific, so I want t to be the sc singleton on t, so it can only be the derived class on itself. And then I also want to create the interface iSingleton, which this has to implement. So let's go back into scripts and create a folder called other, and then in here let's put a folder of interfaces, or a class of interfaces, or rather a script, I guess. And here we have the public interface iSingleton, which had the method uninstantiated. Alright, so let's get this to implement it, and I want to have that method to be abstract here. Abstract. Alright, now for the singleton calls, we want a private static t instance, and of course also we want to be able to check if it's destroyed. And we want it to be thread safe. Alright, let's get the get accessor for this. So if it has been destroyed, oh, it has to be static as well. So if destroyed, then it should just return null, because we don't want to instantiate something. This is because it will be destroyed when you unload the scene, or when you stop play mode in the editor, and we don't want some different calls which will try to instantiate it again when it is destroyed. Alright, so we also want the onDestroy method. Let's make it protected and virtual, so you can like override it in the derived classes. Oh, right. And here destroyed is false. Okay. So if the instance is equal to null, then we want to make a new instance. So let's start by making a new game object where the instance can be attached. And let's call this game object by the name of the type. So type of t.toString. So if it's called object pool, then a game object will be called object pool. And then let's get the instance, which I will say instance is equal to geo.add component type of t. Alright, so now the instance is set, and we don't want to have the instance to be able to be destroyed, so let's don't destroy and load, and that's because we want a singleton to be alive throughout the entire lifespan of the application or the game. And then let's call the uninstantiated method. And now we can return the instance. We also want to add this instance to somewhere like the singleton manager, but let's create that class first so we can do it. It's just to be able to keep track of stuff. So this class had to derive from the self-creates singleton here, and we have to derive it on like itself. Alright, so let's implement it after class. Uninstantiated is right here. And then let's make a last field of Unity and then objects, instances. Okay, and then here let's give the instances a value, and then let's make the public method to add instances. Okay, so now up here, when you make a new instance, you can add it to this as well. Okay. So let's make the object pool, which I will try to call with a demo or test script. Let's also have this derived from the singleton. Let's have a list of objects. Let's call it the pool. So the pool is equal to a new list of objects. And then let's make a generic method for spawn. Okay, so let's just say we have want to make a new copy or clone of this original. So let's say instantiate on this. Okay, and then we want to add the instance to the pool. And we want to return it. Alright, so now let's make a demo script to call this to see if everything works as it should. Test script. Right. So let's say we have a serialized field, a private bool do spawn, which is by default equal to false, and then in the start method, if do spawn, then call the object pool.spawn.instance.spawn a copy of this. Okay, so let us put this test script just on the object in the scene. Test script, and let's say it's true at this point. Oh, let's do spawn if it's false. Okay, let's see if everything works as it should. So we have the object pool, and we have the singleton manager, and the singleton manager tracks the different singletons instances in the game. And they are both in the don't destroy and load scene, so they aren't destroyed when a new scene is loaded. Alright, that's it for this video.